How do we know that COVID-19 isn't an alien?
You could be onto something. We should alert somebody.
They're cute little guys, look like little beach balls with,
Oh my God. Little fuckers. Welcome everybody to the very first edition of Kesha and the Creepies. We are welcomed today by iconic friend, magical legend, very creepy Alice Cooper himself. Yay!
Well, I'm not as creepy as COVID-19, but I'm creepy, yeah.
That's good. That's a good thing. Do you believe in the supernatural, the paranormal?
I don't necessarily believe in ghosts as much as I believe that demons like to pretend they're ghosts.
Oh, okay.
When you watch Ghost Hunters or any of these shows, and they're down in a cellar somewhere, and it's a little girl going, "Daddy, hello, hi, Daddy." I don't think that's a ghost. I think that's a demon doing a really good impersonation of a little girl. Well, it's just one of those things where I think that what demons do best is imitate. And, you know, I talked to some of the guys that do these shows, and I said, you know, be careful, because I think that you think you're talking to something innocent, and I don't think you are talking to something innocent, you know. And they said, well, why would they do that? And I said, to draw you in, to draw you closer to the occult, to draw you more into their world and out of your world. And I said, that's the only reason they would do that. But be very careful and don't let them fool you. You know, I would never go down into a basement trying to find somebody that's dead down there, you know.
See, I would assume you would love, just because of like your persona, and you like to pretend murdered all the time, that you just have a fascination with death, I think is safe to say, right?
Well, here's the deal. Joe Perry and I were writing songs. We had just gotten out of rehab, so we were a little shaky, you know.
Yeah.
And every single thing in this house was like, I'd put my hat down, go in the other room, and my hat would be not there anymore. And I just kind of chalked it up to, well, yeah, I just got out of rehab, you know, so I'm not all there. But this happened all day to everybody. And in the end, we're having dinner that night, and it sounds like somebody's moving furniture in the basement.
And you don't think that's a ghost?
Well, here's the deal. It's not like the movies where you go, let's get a flashlight and go down and see what that is. I got out of there. I mean, I got out of there faster than anybody. Because if I don't know what it is moving furniture in the cellar, you know, I don't want to know what that is.
It's a very strong creature, whatever it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, whatever it is, it's not a floating little ghost. It's something a lot heavier than that.
I feel like different entities have different intentions. Like the one ghost, I've had a couple experiences, but I had one ghost that was in my house in Nashville, and I actually moved out of that house because things just started flying around, and it got really scary, and I felt like I was almost being possessed.
Wow.
By like an entity.
I don't see why a ghost would do that. Why would a ghost do that? But I can see why a demon would do that. You know, see, that to me is the difference right there between something with intentional evil or something that's just floating around going, hey, I'm lost, I don't know where I am.
Well, so I had another experience with a ghost, I'll just call it that, but it was very much more innocent feeling. Like I feel like it was just a lost soul, and I felt almost like they needed a body to inhabit and energy to suck off of, much like shitty people. Yeah.
Well, it might have been Elvis. He was just a regular guy, you know, but I would imagine if there were ghosts, he would have shown up by now.
Yeah, he may have. I've been to Graceland. The place is pretty creepy. I think if you could spend the night there. I actually love Graceland.
The creepiest thing about Graceland is the interior decorator.
I am obsessed with it. That's what I want my home to look like, is Graceland. It's like a slight derailing of the conversation, but I fucking love Graceland. I love how creepy it is.
The whole thing about Elvis was he was so much bigger than life. You know what I mean? His image, his everything about him, when he walked into a room, it was just like he filled the room. You know what I mean? He was Elvis.
He's magical. He's a magical human.
And then when you start talking to him, he becomes extremely human, extremely Memphis, you know. Hey, man, you're the cat with a snake, right? All right, man, that's cool. You know, that kind of thing. And you get, all of a sudden, you're the nicest guy that you ever met in your life. And the next thing I know, I'm standing in the kitchen with a gun pointed at him because he said, here, I'm going to show you how to take a gun out of somebody's hand. Because he was a karate guy, you know. Yeah. And he hands me a loaded 38. And so I had the gun there and he like knocked it out of my hand and I was on the floor and his boot was in my throat and I'm going, that's good. That's good, Elvis. Can I get up now? Great. That's nice. Well, you know, most of these cults were absolutely harmless. They were just a bunch of kids that lived together and had free sex and everybody ate meals at the same time and they were all on acid but none of them were really dangerous until you get somebody that takes on the Messiah complex. And he took on the Messiah complex and started controlling. And he was much older than these young girls are. And so he became the father figure. And so everything that he said when they were on drugs seemed like gospel. And that's why they killed for him. Yeah.
It's so crazy because sometimes I think about how religion and rock and roll sometimes can get almost like there's some similarities that people look up to you. Everything you do and say on stage becomes like almost this like word of God when you're like obsessed with someone as a kid.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you go and see Jesus Christ Superstar, you know, I got to play King Herod in that on the TV show. And the thing was, it was pretty right on when it came to who Jesus was. Jesus never hung out with the priests. He never hung out with the kings. He hung out with, you know, the prostitutes. He hung out with the thieves because he said, a doctor doesn't need to go to somebody that's well. A doctor needs to go to somebody that's sick. Yeah. And so he spent all of his time with people that were destitute and poor and hungry and, you know, had nowhere to go. He said, these are my people here.
Well, I feel very much that way. Like I would feel way more comfortable like down at the Venice boardwalk. I feel very comfortable when everybody is running around right now. They're running around with machetes. It's kind of crazy, but I feel like very comfortable. I don't know why. I feel comfortable in like chaos, but anyways, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being a creep, true and true. And I love you very much. And hopefully I'll see you very soon.
Kesha, I'll see you again. And you look great, by the way.
Thank
you look really terrific.
You like my dark hair?
Yeah, looks good.
I'm going for the Alice Cooper look.
I like it.
To hear the entire podcast, listen and follow Kesha and the Creepies on iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.